Did you know in the 2nd century there was a Roman emperor named Marcus Aurelius? Some call him the philosopher emperor. I've read his extensive writings on, it's called a book called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and they still exist today. I even have a coin that I've purchased of Marcus Aurelius. It was during his reign. This is a coin of Marcus Aurelius during his reign. One of my favorite emperors. If you've seen the movie Gladiator, it depicts him in there with his son Commodus, who is the next emperor, who was sort of the fall of everything after him. So I came across during one of Justin Martyr's apologetic letters. So what he said there, he repeated on what Marcus Aurelius wrote to a senator. He wrote to the Senate regarding Christians praying and bringing forth rain during a drought. And he was astonished by it. So I'm going to read you this epistle, this letter that Marcus Aurelius wrote to the Senate of Rome. So the first apology of Justin Martyr. The Emperor Caesar Marcus Aurelius Antonius Germanicus Parthicus Somaticus, to the people of Rome. These are all titles that he was given. To the people of Rome and to the sacred Senate, greeting. I explain to you to my grand design, and what advantages I gain on the confines of Germany, with much labor and suffering, in consequence of the circumstance that I was surrounded by the enemy. So these are called the Marcomani Wars. For a good portion of Marcus Aurelius's reign, it was fought in wars, and he even talks about how much regret he had in the extensive time period that he had of no peace and mostly fighting. He wasn't a man that cared for violence. I myself being shut up in Cartunium by 74 cohorts. Cohorts is a number of troops. It's a division, 9 miles off. And the enemy being at hand, the scouts pointed out to us that our general Pomponius showed us that there was close on us a mass of mixed multitude of 977,000 men, which indeed we saw. And I was shut up by this vast host, having with me only a battalion composed of the 1st, 10th, double, and marine legions. So we only had a small amount of troops with him from all these legions. Having then examined my own position and my host with respect to the vast mass of barbarians of the enemy, I quickly betook myself to prayer to the gods of my country. But being disregarded by them, he said he was disregarded by the gods of his country, Marcus Aurelius speaking, I summon those who among us go by the name of Christians, and have made inquiry. I discovered a great number and vast host of them, and raged against them. He was angry against them. For whatever reason, he raged against them. But look what he says next. Which was by no means becoming. So he even corrected himself. For afterwards I learned their power, wherefore they began the battle. Wherefore they began the battle, not by preparing weapons, nor arms, nor bugles, for such preparation is hateful to them, on account of the God they bear about in their conscience. Therefore, it is probable that those whom we suppose to be atheists, so they thought these Christians were atheists. They didn't know because they didn't worship the Roman gods, so they figured they didn't serve any god. So that's what it was, because Christians were persecuted at the time. They suppose them to be atheists, have God as their ruling power entrenched in their conscience. For having cast themselves on the ground, they prayed not only for me, but also for the whole army as it stood, that they might be delivered from the present thirst and famine. There was a great drought currently, and they were all suffering for it. For during 5 days we had got no water, because there was none. For we were in the heart of Germany, and in the enemy's territory, and simultaneously with their casting themselves on the ground and praying to God, a God of whom I am ignorant, Marcus Aurelius exclaims, water poured from heaven, upon us most refreshingly cool, but upon the enemies of Rome a withering hail. And immediately we recognize the presence of God following on the prayer, a God unconquerable and indestructible. Look what he claims. Founding upon this, then, let us pardon such as are Christians, lest they pray for and obtain a weapon against ourselves. So he was fearful of the Christians as he saw the power of God through prayer of many of them. So there must have been many Roman soldiers that probably converted to Christianity at this time in the 2nd century. And they converted, and must have been a tough thing for them. Because he says they don't prepare for battle like other soldiers do. this is detestable to them. They don't want a battle, but they're already in the war. Founding upon this, let us then pardon such as are Christians, lest they pray for and such indestructible. Founding upon this, then let us pardon such as are Christians, lest they pray. Okay, I'm sorry. But weapon against ourselves, and I counsel that no such person be accused on the ground of his being a Christian. But if anyone be found laying to the charge of a Christian that he is a Christian, I desire that it be made manifest that he who is accused as a Christian and acknowledges that he is one is accused of nothing else than only this, that he is a Christian, but that he who arraigns him to be burned alive. And I further desire that he who is entrusted with government of the province shall not compel the Christian who confesses and certifies such a matter to retract, neither shall he commit him. And I desire that these things be confirmed by the decree of the Senate. So he's calling for the Senate to make a decree. And I command this to be my edict, to be published in the form of Trajan. Trajan was a past emperor, the same line as Marcus Aurelius, in order that it may be read. The perfect Veristius Polio will see that it be transmitted to all the provinces round about, meaning through all the empire, and that no one who wishes to use or to possess it be hindered from obtaining a copy from the document I now publish. So Marcus Aurelius was blown away. At first, he seemed a little angry when he brought forth these Christians, because his gods weren't answering him, or his false gods weren't answering him. So he got upset and he raged against these Christians because he thought they were atheists, and he saw them drop to their knees and pray to a God he did not know. And if you look what he says, where is it? He called the God of Israel, he called them the indestructible, the unconquerable. So he recognized that God is greater above all else. Now, I've heard conspiracy regarding he might have been a secret Christian, but I don't know. Regarding this letter, who knows after? But I don't believe so. He ever became a Christian, but who knows at the end of the day? Who am I to say? I don't know, and I don't know if there's any writings out there. If there is, please let me know. But I found this to be very interesting. A historical article, which I love history, and I love Marcus Aurelius. The Marcomani Wars was a brutal one that he fought back and forth. And this was a very interesting topic. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you read this for yourself. And I'm going to keep researching, because I also love history as much as I do the Bible. So I'm going to keep on scouring through historical documents to find other things like this. I believe next I'm going to read into Flavius Josephus, into his writings, and make a video on that as well. God bless you all. Use this in your evangelizing to even confirm how Marcus Aurelius, being not a Christian, witnessed immediately as the Christians came to their knees and prayed together, corporately, because he said there was a vast host of them, of Christians in his army. And they all prayed together, and immediately started to rain and finished the drought off. But then it also hailed on the enemies that they were fighting. And Marcus Aurelius accredited the God of Israel unconquerable. Amazing. God bless you all.